Hey, what's up guys, Mashin here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. This one's going to be a little bit interesting. It's not my favorite video to make, but it's one that I feel is extremely important at this time. A lot of things have been going on around CSGO and potentially a new game, new engine, whatever. We're going to be breaking that down today after a quick word from our sponsor, SkinsMonkey. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now, SkinsMonkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now, SkinsMonkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there, and they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much, SkinsMonkey. Make sure you're using the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. Now, we got to start from the beginning here, because we need to figure out what everything has been going on for. And the first thing we got to start with is who came out with this, and that's someone by the name of Richard Lewis. A lot of people have been taking this as complete fact because Richard Lewis is the person that leaked this or came out with this article stating it. Now, if you didn't know, Richard Lewis is someone that's been in the CSGO space for a significant amount of time. He's the person that originally outed iBuyPower as a team that was actually match fixing, going through all the texts and all of the data, taking over a year to come up with the full case against them. It's very important that you know he has a very strong level of credibility inside of the CSGO realm. However, with all that being said, I do want to point out a couple big things about Richard Lewis. The first being, that's probably the last you heard of Richard Lewis, was the time he outed iBuyPower. He's not someone that's constantly in the spotlight, which could potentially give reason as to why he could falsify something like this. Once again, I'm not saying that he would or that he is, but it's something that could potentially happen, and I want to give you the reasons why you still should be slightly skeptical as to something like this to not get your hopes up. The other thing is that he has gained over $1,000 directly by this single tweet. If you don't know, he has his own Patreon, and in the past 48 hours, he's gained almost 200 followers of that Patreon, generating $5 each bare minimum. That's going to be about $1,000. To go along with that, he left his writing job at Dextero, a pretty reputable esports company, just the day before he released all this. Not saying any of this is connected in whatsoever, but it's definitely pretty interesting and should be included with the story. Now, talking specifically about what this would bring, the first thing it's going to bring is a lot of disappointment. Whatever way you shape it, it's most likely not going to be as great as what you think it is. The first thing is this is potentially just a beta.
You can reach out to this guy. This is the guy who actually provided me a key.
And a beta is going to take a significant amount of time. If we want to look to Dota 2, who has already gotten their Source 2 update, which this is potentially referencing, is going to be about a year before it actually gets into full effect. Most likely that's probably going to be fine for a decent amount of people, but there's definitely going to be some that are disappointed thinking that this is just going to change overnight. The other thing that this is going to bring is a lot of interest into the game, and I think that's something that's very beneficial moving forward. CSGO in general is a very popular game when we're talking about esports and computer games or PC games. If we want to look at just the two tweets that are mentioning this, 20 million views in the span of a day or two is very impressive for a quote-unquote dead game. I'm obviously kidding when I say that CSGO is constantly breaking their new player record like they were just a couple days ago, with almost 1.4 million players actively playing, although it is slightly down from what we saw in April 2021 with the amount of unique players, but there's still a ton of interest into the game as of this current moment. One large thing I want to point out is there is not going to be two separate games long term. Valve has seen that over time this is going to tear apart the community, as they saw with CS Source and CS 1.6, where there was a completely divided community because there was two games. Most likely this would result in a rebrand for CSGO into the name Counter-Strike or something very similar to that. We're not going to see another separate game pop up because that would also have some pretty massive implications to the financial aspect of CSGO or the CS franchise. And talking specifically about what it would mean for your skins or the financial aspect like we just mentioned, there's a couple very important pieces I want to get across, one of which I think I've already gotten across. That's the fact that there's not going to be a new game that comes with this. That would be very foolish for Valve to do. Valve is a company that generates a revenue of over $1 billion a year on CSGO alone. That's a very significant amount of money. For them to try and interfere with this at this point would just be irresponsible and have no good reason, and Valve has shown time and time again that they're trying to do as little as possible in this area, most likely for the fact that they don't want to mess up whatever they've got going. If they see that 30 million cases are being opened in the shortest month of the year when they did virtually nothing other than come out with 17 new finishes on a CSGO weapon, they're not going to be messing with that at all, and there's probably a good reason for that, because we've seen in the past that things like the revolver and other things they try to do to spice up the game, generally speaking, don't always end up very favorably. And the biggest thing I want to get across in this area is your skins are not immediately going to become valueless. That's something that's kind of been pushed a little bit, specifically by some people who are trying to take advantage of the situation, especially over there in China. We've seen some people who are trying to convince other people their skins are going to be worth nothing, and therefore they're trying to buy at a discounted price, showing you just how strong the economy of CSGO is. The fact that people are trying to scam them, not to explicitly take the items, but scam them into selling into a much lower price because they think the game is going to end, showing you just how valuable these specific assets are. So the biggest answer to this question is obviously don't sell your skins for the specific fact that Source 2 or whatever is going to be releasing. I think that's a very foolish move at this point. If you want other reasons to sell, absolutely go for it, but to sell just because you think the skins are going to become worthless at this point really makes no sense. Now with this area also comes a very large section that is potential good, and that's got to be the most exciting part of this. Obviously we've seen a couple creators who are starting to make a little bit more mention about heading out to Seattle, so I think there is definitely a very strong possibility that this could be coming relatively soon, or we could see the beta release. And one of the biggest parts of that, or at least one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to for Source 2, is the fact that we're going to be receiving most likely a brand new rendering process that's going to make the skins look absolutely perfect in game. Biggest one I want to point out, Desert Eagle Emerald Jormungandr. I own this skin personally because I think it looks great right now, but it looks absolutely perfect in this brand new rendering model. I'm sure you can see it. It is just absolutely insane how great this skin looks. To go along with that, we've also got some other great benefits. First one is going to be a lot of great interest towards the game. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but 20 million views off a couple tweets that are supposedly confirming something, and the Valve's actual release are a heck of a lot different. And if we're seeing 20 million views right now on something like that, can you imagine the hype and publicity it's going to get if we see a brand new content-ish update for the game? I would consider Source 2 content or whatever they're planning on doing. So the fact is there is a ton of benefits to come with this, and the biggest one of all is that market is really only going to be seeing in a positive direction. There's really no reason for any of the prices of anything on the market to fall down in price unless Source 2 comes with something drastic, which I really can't expect at this time, and I wouldn't say is something you really need to worry about either. The market is most likely only going to benefit from something like this releasing. But that is pretty much all I have for today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I do want to know though, what are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments below, and thank you for watching.